You've probably seen intelligent robots trying to take over the world in movies, but they could also be used for more important things, like choosing my outfits. Hey my dudes, I'm Neva, and I like to explore things like skincare and fashion and beauty through a science lens. These are my notes on artificial intelligence in the fashion industry. As much as I would love to have like a personal shopper picking out like custom, perfect, and cozy outfits for me every single day, it's just not gonna happen. So I can settle for the next best and cheapest thing, which is a robot. Well, the brain of a robot, and more specifically, the brain of a robot designed to think like I would. Humans in general are pretty good at figuring out patterns, and I don't mean like polka dots, these cat socks that my mom got for me, leopard print or whatever. I mean more like everyday patterns that we kind of take for granted. Like cats are small and they tend to meow and they have a certain body shape. The older we get, the better we are at recognizing those patterns. So when we come across a chihuahua that's also small, we know it's not a cat. And shopping is kind of similar. Like we all have personal styles and outfits have a certain pattern to them, like e-girl or all black or tomboy with a bit of girly. These are all sort of patterns. So a personal robot shopper just needs to learn the pattern and then do it. Right now I'm looking for a new pair of boots, because I pretty much only wear black boots, so what else is new? But if I personally had to search every single store from like Topshop to Nasty Gal to Revolve, and then search again whenever the new styles come out, it would just take freaking forever. So let's just have a robot do it. You've probably heard of terms like artificial intelligence and machine learning. In movies it's usually like overhyped to be like taking over the world or trying to kill people or something, but let's look past that like overhyping and see what's actually going on. Machine learning is already being used today, but for much less evil things. Oh, and I should probably mention that AI and machine learning aren't exactly the same thing. AI can like act and react and think like a human, or maybe even better than a human. And machine learning is sort of AI, but it's a computer learning from experience specifically. So AI can like think and make decisions, but machine learning can only learn from the information that you've given it. So back to boots, because that's what I want to get. First, our robot needs to understand what a boot is and it isn't. So we can do this by basically showing him two sets of images, one of which is boots and the other of not boots, like heels or sandals or wedges or whatever the heck. And as he's like looking at these two images, he can kind of figure out what the pattern is of what is and isn't a boot. For example, not boots might be like shorter or more colorful, and as he's like figuring this out, he'll start to build his own pattern. So then we can go and test him by showing him a whole new set of images that he's never seen before and see how well he does. If he only gets like, I don't know, 50% of it correct, then his fashion sense needs to improve a little bit. So we're going to go back to that testing round and show him some more images so that he can learn a bit better. The more you train him, the better he gets and the better his pattern becomes. So we keep doing this until he gets all the way up to like, let's say 99%. So once he understands what a boot is, he'll be able to go through all those different places and pick out which boots are and let me choose.
These are the new shoes I got.
They're pretty basic, but they get the job done. Also got these cool like pointy toe brown boots. I'm kind of excited to style these because they make me feel like a goddamn fairy. But machine learning can be used for a lot more than just identifying what is and isn't a boot. There's one company in particular that I think is really using AI for fashion really well, and that's Stitch Fix. This isn't sponsored, I'm just a nerd, but Stitch Fix is like this online personal styling service.
The company will gather up data points, including dress size, height, and location. That information is then fed into a series of algorithms, which then rank order clothes, shoes, and accessories, which the system believes Kathleen will like. The system then routes a list of suggested items, ranked by how likely Kathleen is to keep them, to a stylist. The stylist reviews Kathleen's profile, takes into account notes like if she likes floral prints, and picks 5 items accordingly.
And it learns from the shopper's style and kind of what they like, and builds like a nice little, custom wardrobe. Oh, hello. Hello. Some apps are using this technology for shopping, like Essence, for example. If you go to their app or their website and you pick out clothes that you like and you add them to your cart, it'll kind of learn what your style is based on that and then suggest like new items for you. On the downside though, since it is learning from the shopper, if you pick out clothes that you don't actually like, or you outgrow a style sometime later, or if I'm just like experimenting with styles, it learns from all of those like incorrect decisions and then just starts suggesting stuff that you don't actually want. If we take a step back to the very start of the fashion process, the designing, AI can be useful here too, because it's really good at like identifying and predicting patterns. So it can figure out like trends and people's purchasing patterns, and then that can be really useful for when you're designing clothes. And then if you've designed something really well, you run the risk of like counterfeits or dupes of it. And in the past, sometimes you have to have like a specialized person to check whether something's fake or not, but AI can just compare between, fake things versus the real things and be able to predict that for you. I need to reemphasize one more time just how much the industry is battling against counterfeits. Like, there's a lot of investment into tech solutions, not just AI, but also like nanotech and Internet of Things, to try and make products that are like real. And they're also lobbying governments so that customs officials can be able to like seize and destroy counterfeit things, and buyers and dealers can be prosecuted, and like websites where counterfeit things are being sold can be shut down. And just at like Louis Vuitton, I think there's like 60 lawyers and some like 17 or 15 million dollars per year that gets spent on counterfeits. So it's a huge industry, and AI can help. So I think this really affects more like the small Etsy owner who's just starting out and has an idea, but then it gets stolen, and then there goes all of their work. And when the clothes are being manufactured, AI can be really useful in telling if like the fabric is torn or if the colors on this match the colors in the original design. We can also make brands a little more eco-friendly by reducing the amount of time in transit. Say if there's like unexpected increases in shopping demand, the brand has to like rush to get all of these orders fixed. But if a brand uses like a machine learning algorithm to kind of better predict what shoppers want and when they want it, they'll be able to be more eco-friendly and reduce that shipping and reduce that like sudden increase in production. And there's two things that I think are kind of problematic about all of this. The first is just privacy. Like, it's not as big of a deal as like your health data at the doctors, but they are collecting data, a lot of data about how we shop and the ways we even look when we shop.
Using our own cameras in the store that use 3D imaging, so we can measure not just where the shopper is standing, but their skeleton position, where they're reaching, where their head is facing, their facial expressions. And we have software that automates the coding of this and is able to capture this information.
The second is what we train these robots to do. There's no real danger of them becoming like conscious or being able to think for themselves, but they are learning from data that we give them, which means you probably shouldn't give them data about like taking over the world or, I don't know, running an election. So the future and current present of fashion is certainly smart. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a like or a subscribe, or do both, or do neither, because honestly, I'm just really happy that you're watching this. So that's all I have for today. I'll see you guys on the next page. The amount of like shipping time and whoops. Your nose is covered in food. You have food on your face. You have so much food on your face. Hi, osmosis. On the downside though, since it is learning from the shopper, then that means if you're picking out something that you